Brought to you by Lister Pros TV, streaming from Tempe, Arizona. And we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, Jordan Nielsen here, host of Real Estate Pros on Lister Pros TV. Today we're in Tempe, Arizona in our studio with John Eli of My Home Group. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day and joining me on Real Estate Pros.
Definitely. Thanks for having me out here.
Awesome. So for those watching or tuning in or listening that don't know who you are, we'll give you a couple minutes to introduce yourself.
Okay. My name's John Ely. Like Jordan was saying, I'm with My Home Group. I got licensed in August of 2014.
Okay.
Yeah, so before...
Coming up on 5 years, man.
Coming up, man. And, 2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
But anyways, before real estate, I was kind of like in corporate America. And in 2015, my company was going through an acquisition. All right. So I basically got put with the ultimatum on move to the Philippines or find a new job. So I took the latter on it, obviously.
Come on. They just had an earthquake, I think, not too long ago.
I know.
They got a lot of natural
natural
disasters.
Yeah. So my mom actually ran a property management company at the time. She still does. So started talking with mom, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm going to try this property management gig out for a little while, see how things work. About a year doing that, I wasn't selling or help people sell or buy real estate at that time. I was just doing property management, and about a year of that was going through, and one of my jobs on doing was calling the tenants and seeing if they're going to renew their lease, if they're moving, get the place back ready on the market for rent. And I started having a couple conversations with people saying, well, we're actually going to buy a house, so we're not going to be renewing the lease. So that led to conversations on, well, hey, do you have a realtor that's helping you buy this house? Some of the answers was no. So that was my first sale I ever did, was helping somebody buy their very first home to kind of like break the cycle of renting,
Yeah.
Once I got the taste of that, I was like, man, this is so much better of an experience, positive experience, than like being like the landlord, where the only time you really talk to them if there's something going wrong. So that kind of got me hooked, and about 4 months after that first sale, I decided like, hey, I'm going all in. I'm just going to focus with people who want to buy homes and who want to sell homes.
Right.
Yeah.
So how long? So you transitioned into real estate first for property management because of your mom's background.
Yeah.
That's actually how I kind of got into it too, because I have a corporate America background. I was a banker or a manager at Wells Fargo.
Okay.
And then my buddy came in, I would see like big bank accounts, right? You see like, oh man. But it's like the trust fund, right? For all the property managers and stuff like that. I figured that out later. But I was like, yeah, that sounds
How
sweet.
these guys get all this money?
That's sweet, man. So I got licensed and was like showing rentals and stuff like that just for fun. But then, you get the $200 checks on those, and then it's like, oh, you help them buy or sell, and
then it turns around to
but the property management can be a good business, because a lot of like you found out, a lot of the renters become homeowners.
Yeah.
So then you can capitalize on those opportunities. So then you transition full time into like representing buyers and sellers after what period of time?
From when I got licensed, like probably a year and like 14 months. I started like full time January 2016. That's when I kind of went directly into buying and selling. So that was like my first year in sales. And I mean, like I didn't really know anybody, aside from like some of the family was in property management or anything like that. So I kind of just like hit the ground running with open houses and just doing like at least one open house a week. And it got to the point like in that first year where I was like, man, I don't know if I'm like doing this right, or like I know I could be doing it better. It doesn't seem like I should be like meeting more people to help them buy or sell or whatever they're going through that open house for, right? So like in that first year, I actually came across Joshua Smith, and like he was doing this free training for open houses. Like I think it was called Mega Open House Training or whatever. It was like a 3 hour long free training just on open houses. So I was like, man, like went through that, and after that I was kind of hooked with like a lot of his other training. And then I actually started first found out about My Home Group. They did a few years back something called like the November event where they had a lot of keynote speakers. He was there, so I was like, hey, let's see what all this is about. And that kind of like revolutionized how I got into like personal growth with real estate. Mm-hmm. You know, that actually got me thinking, hey, I need more outside influences in this to figure out how to do things better, because it's going to take me forever to figure this out all by myself.
Sure.
You know, but like the first year in real estate, I did pretty well for like what the average agent is compared to, but I was doing like open house every single week at least. Then my second year in, I kind of like part of like his training programs about open houses was doing videos for your open houses. So I do like little videos here and there, just like kind of promoting the open house, try to get like funny with it and like show some like personality and character to it, you know? Like walking through the house, like, hey, here's the front yard, here's 4 walls, got your garage here, you know? And
there's a door on this
yeah, there's a door. Look at that. So once I started doing those videos, like into my second year, I started kind of transitioning those open house videos to more like educational or things that people who are in that initial transition of, hey, I think I might need to sell my house or buy a house. So I started doing educational videos about all that. And in that second year, those videos started like evolving and everything like that. I started like a little real estate show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, about all that. And like towards the end of my second year, it's like my high school sweetheart got pregnant, and like, okay, like now it's time to get like a house, dog, kid coming, and like my time for open houses just went to like nothing. So right in the middle, towards the tail end of my second year in, I was like, I need to figure out what else I can do that doesn't require me being gone like 3 days for 8 hours, or like Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Right.
And I did a class. There's a pattern here. I did a class with Daniel Barraza.
Oh yeah. I had him on the show previously.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He's a really good guy.
Yeah. Rock star, man. He
So
does the pop buys and all that stuff.
Yeah. Pop buys, like your top 150 list.
Yes.
Nurturing your database and past clients and Sphere. So I started kind of going all in on that because I had time to do those things, but like I couldn't just zone out 3 days out of the week where I couldn't like take care of my kid or anything like that.
Yeah, right.
I had to be a dad at some point.
Yeah. You want your kid to recognize your face, right?
Right?
It'll be like, who's that guy? Is that mom's boyfriend? Or he shows up every once in a while or whatever.
Yeah. So like I started going all in on that like halfway through my second year, and that instantly like doubled my business just right there. Talking to people who knew me or people that were friends of mine, that were friends of friends, past clients, their friends, family, coworkers, and all that stuff. So, and after doing that for about a year, because last year was the end of my third full year in real estate.
Yeah.
And after doing that, I could see the exponential growth and the number of people that I was talking to. And those conversations were much different from like open houses or like online leads or door knocking or anything like that, because they're a referral. They're like a warm lead over to you. Mm-hmm. And they already have a sense of trust in that, you know? But after that, I decided to take a real focus in like specializing in people, specializing in relationships that are already around you, and how I could get better at specializing in those relationships.
Right.
So like last year was I started doing like those weekly pop buys, throwing them in like a Facebook group for all my clients, started doing like weekly gratitude, monthly appreciation, started doing client events, like renting out like a Harkins Theater, inviting everybody in and everything, which sounds expensive, but it's really not, especially if you can get your partners that you are loyal to to help sponsor the event. I started doing like annual real estate holding reviews for my clients, where we're actually talking about like, hey, you bought a house a year ago or 2 years ago. What's your appreciation? What's it worth? What's your equity? What's your loan look like? Are you paying PMI? Like really breaking things down for them to not just be like a ghost and disappear.
Sure.
After they bought a house, see you later.
Right. So to continue to follow up and bring value to them,
Mm-hmm.
even after the transaction, right? So to make sure that, if rates dropped, it might make sense for them to refinance, but you have partners and everything in place. So it sounds like you've kind of evolved as a real estate agent as you got into the business,
Mm-hmm.
focused on open houses or mega open houses, and obviously life changes come about, and then you found kind of a niche now in building and focusing on relationships in your sphere of influence
Mm-hmm.
and referral. So how has that played out, in regards to success? So for example, if a brand new agent is watching this, what suggestion or things would you recommend that they focus on being brand new? Would you recommend just jumping in now, knowing what you do know, and focus on the relationships that they do,
Mm-hmm.
or busting it hard and doing open houses every week, or is it finding what works for you, or whatever? What?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can go
Sure.
about when you first get in. A lot of people say join a team because they have all the tools and resources for you to get started, and at least you can take that first couple years to really figure out, what your business looks like. For me, I did consistently open houses for that first year, every single week, and it's kind of a honing your craft. But I guess the advice, open houses still work. They always have. I'm a big believer in open houses, but I think it's really kind of focusing on consistently your personal growth with whatever path that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just trying to be a solo agent that doesn't reach for any kind of outside help. Like that's, I want to plug like my home group on this because
Sure.
one of the things that they're advocates of is providing value to all of their agents, not even their agents, but anybody in the marketplace that wants to come out to like their workshops or anything like that. They throw big events like that November event that I was talking about, and really open up the connections and resources to reach out to different people. I met so many people through just working at my home group that also worked there that I would have never had the opportunity to meet before, like Daniel Barraza, Joshua Smith, even my vendor partners, and even Steve Valentine, who I did another class with last year. So he does a Limitless program on creating handcrafted solutions for your clients, which totally changes your mindset and how you look through the lens of your business or life, and not just going to someone's house saying, oh, I got a listing appointment, I'm going to go help them sell it. But for saying, well, maybe selling your house might not be the best option for you, or maybe traditional selling is not. Have you looked at like instant cash offers or bringing out like offers from like Zillow or Open Door or OfferPad with you for all that kind of stuff?
Sure.
And really kind of breaking down for what their goals are and what their needs are and what is the best option for them. And then how can I be involved in that grand scheme of things?
Sure. And I think that's partially how the evolution of real estate has at least been over the last several years. It's significantly different than it was 5 years ago. You're seeing billboards all over the place.
Yeah.
Real estate related, different companies. I don't recall seeing that many. There may have been some in the past, but you kind of have to be not necessarily a different agent, but know how you can bring value to your clients, like leveraging these iBuyers and it sounds like you're kind of, trying to build those relationships and understand their situation and putting out all these options on the table as to, what would be the best fit for your particular clients.
Mm-hmm. Because, without having any of that kind of conversation, just going directly to them, it could be, well, here's what I can make and here's all the stresses I don't have to deal with.
Right.
But the conversation that no one is having with them is, well, if I do this, how much money am I leaving on the table? Or what are those hassles that I would have to deal with? And is it worth that return on that money,
Yep.
But honestly, I think that in this world of like industry disruptors and everything, where majority of all their focus is for like instant offers online, streamlining things, making things super easy, leveraging technology very heavily. I mean, I really do think that where I'm putting all my focus in is based off of that, and the fact that there's going to be a huge lack on their part of that human connection, of that face-to-face conversation, of just sitting down with somebody and seeing if like you actually trust them and they have their gut feeling, and actually presenting all like different options and those too. You know?
And I think it's an interesting part in the marketplace right now, because earlier today when I was talking to Chris Tiller, we were talking about iBuyers and how it's kind of interesting because, you know, a lot of homeowners don't understand how much, you know, what the difference is between going with a traditional. They may just see, oh, that net number is good. I only paid $100, but they're offering me $200, right? And knowing, you know, all the options, because they may net 20 or 30K more with it. Just depends on the situation in the house and stuff. But it's almost like, oh, 100 is enough. I don't necessarily need 130, or what, you know what I'm saying? So if you lay out everything and you see, all right, what is it worth, you know, in convenience exchange? Is it really worth netting 30,000 less on a transaction? Or maybe it is, maybe it's not. But just knowing the overall situation of the clients. But I think it's interesting. We'll see what happens with when the market, you know, not when, but you know, the market will change. However, I don't know if it's going to go down or up or whatever. Maybe it levels off. But if there's not a whole bunch of equity in people and they're doing things, I think if it hits their pocketbook more than just, oh, we're taking a hit on equity, but like, you know, maybe I'm really.
Well, they started capitalizing in this in a really good time because it was such a heavy seller's market for years, you know, where people were having a lot of equity in their houses, and that option could be really enticing for them, you know. But no, I agree with you on what's the longevity of that when markets do shift, because that's inevitable.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think they'll still survive, and it'll just be different, but it's just an interesting how it's kind of gone up so fast that you're in that mindset. Oh, you know, it won't be forever like that, you know. So we'll see what happens. So awesome, man. So we talked about My Home Group. I guess why did you ultimately choose My Home Group? We know there's a lot of options when it comes to brokerage.
You know, I decided to go with My Home Group after I went to that November event and showed what kind of value that they were trying to provide to the marketplace as a whole. You know, not to mention that, but they really let you run your own business how you want to, and even just the branding side of things too. But it's not just that, it's, I mean, all the value that they provided. That's kind of like my main thing. And then after I met Mark for the first time in person and we talked with him, I was just kind of hooked. I was like, all right, what do I sign?
Yeah. So it sounds like they deliver a lot of value. I've actually referred a few people over to My Home Group that I thought was a good but I respect My Home Group a lot. It seems like their agents tend to be pretty loyal to the brokerage, and they see the value that they bring. Obviously there's tons of options out there, but you know, everything that they do is pretty cool. I've listened to a couple of their podcast episodes as well.
Yeah, they've had a podcast for a couple of years now, like 3 or 4. Yep.
So awesome. So what is your current focus right now? How do people get a hold of you if they're looking to buy or sell? What areas do you cover? I guess we can go into that a little bit.
No, I mostly cover North Scottsdale, North Phoenix, and Central Phoenix, and West Valley. I got a lot of West Valley business because that property management connection is based out of the West Valley. So I help a lot of like first-time home buyers out there, a lot of investors out there. And but so you can find me on my Facebook, like my video, like my real estate show, Selling Phoenix, is you can find that on YouTube. You can find that on Facebook. You know, that's facebook.com/Selling Phoenix.
Selling Steve Penante too. He's at My Home Group.
He does, I know Steve. Steve's a character. He's in Texas now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Well, I think back and forth. But
I haven't talked to him in a couple months, but yeah.
No, I know Steve. Steve's a really good guy. He's actually opening up a branch out in like the Dallas Fort Worth area.
Really?
My home group branch out there. Yeah. I don't know if I think that's public.
Yeah. Hey, he hasn't let me know. He always hits me up because he has like a little studio. He's like, hey, how did you do this? But anyways, that came to mind because you do your video show too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So, so what is it again? Selling Phoenix? Is that what you said?
Yeah, Selling Phoenix. So
Okay.
like you can just go to like the facebook.com/Selling Phoenix. Yeah, same thing on YouTube, same thing on Instagram. Or you can just hit me up by my cell, 480-239-2714, or email. That's john@soldbyely.com, ELY.
Sweet. Awesome, John. Thanks so much for joining me on Real Estate Pros.
Yeah, thanks,
Taking
Jordan.
time out of your day. We'll have to have you on again.
Definitely.
We'll see you guys on the next episode.